Farm Basics is brought to you by the Liberty Link trait and Liberty herbicide from Bayer. The most reliable weed management solution, Liberty Link and Liberty herbicide are the link to efficient row crop production and sustainable weed management.
Brian, you know, one thing I saw a lot of this fall is guys taking out old fence lines.
Yep.
Why are they taking out the fences?
Okay, well, like just about right next to us here, there's an old fence line. It's around a grove, and here we've got our field. Let's face it, Darren, we're never going to have livestock out in this field anymore. We don't have livestock on our farm, so why do we need the fences here at all? That's the reason why they were there, is so the cows didn't get into the trees.
Well, if the fence was in good shape, there's nothing wrong with it. It's when the fence starts to decline in condition that, hey, you either need to repair it or you need to take it out. And why spend a whole bunch of money putting in new fence when there's no purpose for it? So in that case, many guys just wait. Once the fence is in poor repair, they'll pull it back out.
Well, you know, the old saying is good fences make good neighbors. And on the farm, I think that one of the reasons why some guys like to put fences up is just to make sure their stuff was separate from the neighbors. But anymore, we find farmers are working together so well, and with all this GPS stuff and auto steer and everything, you can drive right on your side of your property line, whether you have a fence there or not. It's not as big a deal as it used to be.
Well, I don't know. I guess most guys don't have to farm next to you, Brian, so they aren't too worried about having a fence up
anymore.
I
hate having that fence out there, though, because it's just an area that's dead. I mean, or, you know, some area where it's not productive, I mean to say, and we now have to control weeds there. Why do that? Why not get some production, get some dollars out of that area, especially when it's just between fields?
Well, I'm trying to think of a positive reason for having a fence if you don't have livestock, and I really can't come up with one. If you've got deer in your area, they'll just jump over the fence anyway, so it's not like it's going to hold deer back unless it's a great big tall fence. Then they'll just go around the fence and still get to where they want to get to. So it isn't going to change much that way. And with fences, you know, it is something that you could catch some equipment on, and many guys now are running larger equipment, especially as they're trying to get younger people or newer people on the farm going with some big equipment. Occasionally you'll see one of those guys just barely catch that barbed wire fence, and all of a sudden barbed wire is wrapped all over everything, and it's not a whole lot of fun to try and take that off.
Well, once again, now that most farmers do not have livestock on the farm, they are taking the fences out. It just means that much less maintenance for them and that many more acres they have that can now be productive.
Well, one other thing that you can clean up by taking out a fence line is the weeds that grow there. It could be a place where our Weed of the Week could get a start. Can you identify this week's weed?